This is Tar Heel Illustrated publisher Andrew Jones coming to you from Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, home of the football Tar Heels. And with me is our very own Jacob Turner, who usually joins me in these videos to kind of raise the level of intelligence of these things, Jay. And maturity, right?
Yeah, of course. Me being the older head here.
Well, it's game week. Tar Heels take on South Carolina Saturday in Charlotte, 3:30 kickoff at Bank of America Stadium. We are here today not to preview that game, but to preview the defense this season for the Tar Heels. A little earlier today, we had our first weekly press conference of the season with Mac Brown, and a nice new twist this year. We get the coordinators. We had offensive coordinator Phil Longo, defensive coordinator Jay Bateman. Before we get into the preview, very quickly want to remind you, we've got an amazing deal going on at TarHeelIllustrated.com right now. You can check us out for free through the Georgia Tech game. Just go over to TarHeelIllustrated.com, sign up real quickly, and you have access to everything we do for free through the Georgia Tech game, which is October 5th. That's the first half of the season.
Really
and at that point, if you choose to stick around, you pay $99 and for a 1-year subscription, and we give you an additional 6 months for free. That's $5.50. As I said it in the other video, that's a bad hamburger, or maybe slice of bad cheese on top of a bad hamburger to make it a bad cheeseburger.
You can't get a lot with $5.50.
Just $5.50 for their 18 months. And really, if you sign up now, you get 6 weeks, then you get the 1 year, then you get the 6 months. It's 19.5 months. It's like $5.20. I did the math. $5.21.
Good math right there, isn't it?
Well, the calculator in my phone helps a little bit. I could have figured it out on my own. But anyway, go to our site, TarHeelIllustrated.com. You have access to everything we do. We cover the Tar Heels wherever they go, wherever the football team goes, wherever the basketball team goes. We're on top of football recruiting, on top of basketball recruiting, and we've got a message board that is a phenomenal community for fellow Carolina fans such as yourself to just kind of commiserate, complain and whine when they lose, celebrate when they win, and follow a lot of the other things that go on around the program. And one little nugget here for you. We put a lot more news, a lot more information on just the boards than we do the front page. So you can only access it if you're a premium subscriber. So go to the site, TarHeelIllustrated.com, become a member of our community. I think you'll like it. I think you'll stick around, and you'll have access to absolutely everything we do.
And I think that's one thing people don't notice before we move on, AJ, is not only just subscribing to the premium allow you to get on the boards, and I think some people sometimes think that the boards are just a place to talk to Carolina fans, but we put tidbits on there and information that you're not going to get unless you're signed up. So that's one of the main reasons you want to head over there. If you want to really know what's going on inside this program, want to get a little bit more information than we're putting out on the surface and some of our other free content, got to join the premium boards. You got to get involved with that. And like you said, I think once you get involved, I don't think they're turning back from it.
And the culture of our board, real fast, isn't where a crazy guy goes to complain about everything.
No, it's not like that at all.
It's a pretty respectful board. There's some interesting discussions that go on from time to time. They're actually kind of fun, especially if you're a lurker. And most people are lurkers. Most people don't post. So there's a lot of fun stuff, and you can be that guy. If you want to be the crazy guy, come on aboard and be the crazy guy. See how that works for you.
Exactly. We don't discriminate.
Anyway, go to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Get in on our amazing deal that we have running through the Georgia Tech game, which is the 6th game of the season. And Jacob, at that point, I think we'll know an awful lot about the defense.
I hope so.
We don't know right now because we want to watch Jay Bateman's defense in person to see how they use the personnel. We keep hearing about hybrids. Well, this guy's only an end, this guy's a linebacker, this guy's a combination. Trey Morrison's going to line up all over the place. I just can't wait to see what they've been teaching these guys, what Bateman has in his mind, and what kind of mad scientist stuff he's doing on the field with these guys. It's going to be exciting because of the variances of this defense, because of the misdirection, because of the disguising, because of the aggressiveness, and because they're going to try to make use of their best players they can put on the field, which means a guy may be at one position one snap, another position another snap. That, as a guy who's doing this for 24 years now, that's exciting because base defenses can get boring and they get figured out, as you've seen the last few years. So this is very new, it's very different, it's very exciting, and if you've watched a lot of Army film from the last couple of years, disregard it. Because my understanding is that, there'll be some similarities to that, but the personnel's different, and he's going to use the personnel accordingly, and that excites me.
It's refreshing to see, really, because one of the big complaints I had about the last staff, and I don't want to touch on it too much and really talk about the staff too much, but I have to say this. One of the things that really frustrated me was I always felt like there was a lot of instances where the best players were not being utilized. to their best abilities. You would see guys on the bench that should have been in the game every play. And I think with this staff, one thing they've harped on is the best players are going to play, and we're going to try to get our best players in the best positions to be successful and do what they're good at. And I think that's so refreshing to see. It's so refreshing that we even got a depth chart this morning for the whole team. Defense and on the defense, obviously. I mean, you talked about it last year, but you talked about flying to California and having absolutely no idea who was going to start because of the access you had. You just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And now it's so refreshing to know, all right, this guy, Trey Morrison, might be starting at corner. He also might be playing some nickel. And then you got guys like, I mean, Wolfwick said it last week. He's like, I don't even know if I'm the starting safety yet. We're flipping everywhere in the secondary, playing in so many different positions. So
I think he knows.
I think he knows. I think that was probably a little bit of an exaggeration.
But I think that symbolizes what we're talking about, and I think that that's great because the guys have bought into, what they called, even going back to last spring, but certainly the beginning of camp, controlled chaos. And so it's not that chaotic to them. If Wolfwick is going to be a free safety, one snap, a strong safety, or whatever they call him in this defense, the next snap, it's normal now, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and Wolfwick touched on it last week, like I just mentioned him. He said that it gives you a better, switching all these positions kind of gives you a better understanding of the defense as a whole, and you get a better understanding of, okay, this is his role, this is my role, and once you get that, you're more versatile in what you can do. You can switch to different positions around the field. You know what the guy beside you is doing a little bit more confidently than maybe they did in previous seasons, which I think is going to help the transition period of just learning a whole new scheme in general, because these guys are getting reps all over the field right now. So it's good to see. I'm looking forward to seeing Jay Bateman's defense, because from what I've seen out of Army, particularly last year, he was just so impressive with what he did with that group. And I'm hoping that that's going to translate quickly to this Carolina team, because I mentioned in the offensive video, I have a little bit more question marks about the defense than I do the offense. So in my head, there's still some things I'm going to really be trying to figure out going into the South Carolina game and beyond that. But I think Bateman's presence and some of the talent he has returning is making me feel pretty confident about what this defense can do, and I'm excited to see him actually finally play against somebody else.
My question about the defense is more about depth. Linebacker,
I think that's the biggest
depth.
issue.
The reason I have more questions with offense is because I'm more confident in the point of attack on defense with Strobridge and with Aaron Crawford than I am with what the offensive line's dealing with right now. But the communication is huge in this defense, and that's what you were sort of alluding to. They're learning all these different positions as well, because they have to communicate, and they have to communicate back going in. And because even the linemen, I was like, well, we don't always hear all the communication, and we don't do a lot of it. So it has to be Dorn, Woolfolk, Renee, Morrison, DJ Ford, all those guys, the linebackers. And by learning everything that everybody's doing, it's going to help them communicate on the fly in a game. And I think that when you watch the game Saturday and when you watch this season evolve, as it will, watch how the communication is going to get a little bit better. Watch how the disguises are going to be crisper. Watch how they're not going to maybe bite the wrong way as much. And the pre-snap reads are going to be stronger because of the communication. And that's exciting. I love watching it. One of the reasons I love college basketball, covering college basketball, you see a team kind of become what it's going to be by March. Now, they don't have that in football, but think of this program as entering its initial point under Mac Brown's second tour of duty. And this season's really important, but they're going to be building toward next year. It's a bridge to 2020, which is a bridge to 2021. How all these things take form now will get them in further ahead in the spring, next summer, next fall, and more success they have at everything coming together now, there'll be a better unit moving forward, because I don't think Bateman's going to be here 1 year and then gone. This is a bigger plan a lot of these guys are invested in. So if you want to look down the road at what this program could be, if you're thinking 10 wins in year 3, well, the defense has to start coming together now. All that chaos stuff really has to be controlled now, so it's fully cemented by the time they get to 20 and 21.
Yeah, they have to show glimpses of what they can do. Like I said, I think this defense is not the finished article yet. I think there's still a lot of question marks about this defense, particularly at a few specific positions, cornerback, linebacker. I think they look pretty set at the D-line. I'm pretty confident in what I'm seeing from Miles Wolfwick and Miles Dorn at those safety positions. I really like what they're doing, like you mentioned, the communication-wise. Miles Dorn and Miles Wolfwick have done a spectacular job communicating and leading this defense. Last Monday, I think I talked about in the video we did after practice, their communication out here, they were really the main guys out there talking. They were the main guys out there getting on people, especially the cornerbacks, when they just were making maybe, I guess, boneheaded plays would be the best play to win, because there's some young guys out there. There's guys, Patrice Renee's really your only returner at corner. You got Trey Morrison playing a lot there. Greg Ross played a little bit there last year, but hasn't played a ton. So communication is going to be key. I'm glad they have 2 experienced guys back there at safety, but those guys are going to, I mean, especially Doran, he's going to be gone after this year. So it's important for him to come in, and he's mentioned it before. He wants to be a guy that comes in and lays that groundwork down for what happens in the future, because as a senior, you only get one more chance at it. He's said it so many times. He wants to win. He wants to go 12-0. He wants to win 12 games. That's going to be tough to do.
Yeah.
But you like to hear that confidence from the guys, this newfound confidence, not only on the defensive side of the ball, but on this team as a whole, that I think is going to translate to better performances on the field. And obviously it's not going to take too much for this team to be better than it was last year. But I think this team has the ability to do some really good things and win some games that over the past couple seasons they wouldn't win, and hopefully make some stops in key situations on defense that they just haven't done in a long time.
Miles Doran saying that embodies the different vibe and culture that is around this program now than what was the case last year, and really, right up to when Larry was terminated. And there was a carryover effect after he was terminated. They have to kind of change a lot of stuff quickly. They had some concerns when camp started. The defensive line, the depth there, I think they're in much better shape. They feel good about Jaleel Taylor, Zach Gill. We got to get the proper pronunciation, because I've heard junior college transfer Jay Vlahashik, I believe it is. We've heard his name pronounced like 4 or 5 different times.
Yeah.
So next time we do a video, we'll get it right for sure. The questions in the depth at secondary for sure. Then linebacker is an issue, especially they're not going to have Dominique Ross for the first half of the South Carolina game. We'll hit on that when we do the game preview. But I think that I like a lot of the parts, even at linebacker. I think Chaz Surratt's going to be really good in time.
I think he is too, yeah.
I like Kadri Jackson, although he was getting some reps in the secondary last week, although I think that may have just been learning how to defend the pass a little bit more, some of that technique, because he probably didn't do a lot of that in high school. I do like Matthew Flynn. I like Jeremiah Gimmel. I think he's going to be phenomenal. Jay Bateman told us 2 weeks ago, I'm not worried about Jeremiah Gimmel. I fully trust him. And today he told us, I'm not concerned about Chaz Surratt. So I think they're going to be pretty solid in time at linebacker. I just feel like this group, because there's older guys or more experienced guys at the line and in the secondary barking a lot of the stuff, I think that they're a little bit in better shape, a little bit more together than the offense, which is why I was more concerned about the offense than I am the defense going in. They're going to give up big plays, but I think they're going to actually make some plays. They're going to force some turnovers. No program in FBS football had fewer interceptions the last 3 years in North Carolina. They've got to make that. They got to change that. They got to get fumbles. They got to get some interceptions. They got to flip the field to give a young quarterback some easier fields, some shorter fields to work with, and they've got to kind of limit a lot of the big plays. When Gene Chizik was here, he called them catastrophics. Well, you're going to give up a few, like Bateman said today. You're going to give up some big plays, but you can't give up a ton of them. And then you've got to get off the field on third down. I don't know if this team's going to get off the field on third down a lot. They haven't in a long time.
No, it's been a while.
And they've given up a lot of catastrophics. But if they can get the turnovers, if they can make a big play on first down, put teams in position to have to go first and 17, second and 17, second and 15, stuff like that, I think they can have a lot of success. And I believe we'll see more of that this year than we've seen the last few years.
And I think that's a lot of that has to do with making those big stops, stopping those catastrophic plays. Has a lot to do with confidence. Those guys got to be confident out here and know that when it comes down to it, hey, if we make this stop, we have a really good chance of winning the game. But let's not sit here and believe we're not going to do it. Let's be out here and know that, hey, we're going to get this stop and we're going to win this game. And I think that's one thing Mac Brown's touched on, and one thing this team has really struggled with over the past few years is they've lost so many games late in fourth quarters from game-winning drives by the other team or catastrophic turnovers on the offensive side of the ball. Whatever it may be, it's been a lot of shooting themselves in the foot type moments that they just have to cut out, particularly on the defense, because we've said it many times, but I mean, this university and this program has not had a good defense in a very long time. Has not had an elite level defense, in my opinion, in a long time. And I think Jay Bateman, from what he did at Army with a little bit lesser talent, if that's what you want to call it, has the potential to come in here and make some immediate changes that maybe doesn't take him to that elite level yet, but step by step, year by year, they start improving and getting a little bit better. And I think, like we've mentioned, it starts this year. And, if we're talking, 12 weeks, 13 weeks from now, and this defense still has a lot of question marks surrounding it, then that's when you start to worry a little bit about, okay, what is it that, why can't this program seem to get a good defense and seem to put a good product on the field? Why can't this defense seem to find an identity of not shooting themselves in the foot all the time? But for me, going into the season, I don't think that's going to be as much of a problem. You're still going to see catastrophic plays. I think there's no way around that. Like Jay Bateman said, they're going to happen. You're still going to see negative plays. You're still going to see guys making mistakes out there at times. But if they can just cut those in half from what they've been like over the past few seasons, I mean, naturally, this defense is just going to look so much better out on the field. And as a result, I think Carolina will win more games, at least be in positions to win more games.
Well, not to harp on last season, but just for perspective, if they get a few more turnovers last year, some of those games they lost in the fourth quarter, maybe those possessions don't end up scores. They actually are turnovers and Carolina takes over. Even if they don't get anything out of it, they don't give up points on those possessions. So those were maybe more opportunities that they could have won games. And I think this year's team, with the new staff in place, clearly the better culture in place, I think you're just going to see things handled right here. This is the sideline where they're going to be for home games. I think that this sideline is in better shape. Much better shape than it was last year. And because of that, I think they will put these kids in more positions to win. If the defense can flip the field a few times, that just adds to it. And I think by virtue of that, they'll win a few more games than they did a year ago. Then if you look at some of the other basic improvements, I think you're looking at a team that should be fighting at the very least for a bowl game when they get into November. And it's going to be because the defense is getting those turnovers, flipping the field, maybe even scoring some direct points off those turnovers.
Yeah, defense is going to be crucial. I mean, just like any team, if any team wants to be great, you have to have a good defense out there. I mean, it's cliche, but defense wins championships. And especially when you look at how young this offense kind of is, I guess barring the running back group and wide receiver group, there's a lot of young guys on the offensive side of the ball. So there's going to be moments when maybe they're just not playing as good as you would hope them to. So if the defense can come in, relieve those guys, step up, create turnovers, make plays, that's just going to help this team as a whole. And like we've mentioned, I think there's guys on this defense. I think there's playmakers, Patrice Renee, Miles Doran, Jason Strobridge, Aaron Crawford. There's guys on the team, this defense, that have NFL potential. It's just about going out there, being consistent, believing in what you're doing, understanding the scheme, and executing it on the field. And I think this defense has a ton of potential to do some really nice things. But, I mean, game weeks, we're less than a week away, so we're going to know a lot more after Saturday.
Absolutely.
And I'm really looking forward to finally getting some of these open-ended questions hopefully answered a little bit better than what we can now.
And I'm looking forward to finding out what you guys have to say on TarHeelIllustrated.com. Go ahead and post in the thread your comments, what you think, what you expect from the defense, what you'd like to see. On YouTube, go ahead and click like if you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment. Go ahead and post a comment. Let us know what you if you're not ready to come enter the fray and join our community just yet, let us know what you think about this defense right here in the YouTube channel, comments thread, or whatever the thing. That's comments thread, or whatever it's called. Anyway, go to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Don't forget we have that amazing deal for you. You could be a part of our community for 6 weeks for free, and then let's see how things go after that. For Jacob Turner, this is Andrew Jones. Thanks for being with us.